Coming up live on LiveWire, we've got a great show for you today. If you walk through the streets of Midtown Sacramento, maybe even the downtown area, you might see one of these things. It's called the Duchess of Malfi. It's a play that's going to be opening soon in a few weeks, and you should go and see it because it's very rare that this play is done. Don't know why, but I've got the director here and all the actors, and we're going to see scenes from the play, and maybe you can make your own decisions. So stay tuned for LiveWire right after this. Well, this is LiveWire, and we are live, and here with me is an entire theater company sitting around here. They're called the Forgotten Theater Company, and with me is I forget his name, Phil Ryder, who is the director of it. Welcome.
Hi.
And welcome to your group. Who are these folks that I've forgotten their names as well?
No, I haven't brought the entire company with me, but immediately to my right is Mitch Thompson. He's our fighter ranger. He's also playing one of the main characters, but also a lunatic.
Oh, a lunatic.
Yeah, of
cool.
which there are many in this play. And then we have Linda Whiteman, who's our mask maker, and she's going to be talking about that.
I see some masks down here.
Yeah, and then we have Veronica Jobbo at the end, and Veronica is... she's in the play, as you can see from her costume, but she's also the choreographer.
Oh, I thought she was from Marin.
There's a lot of stylized. Are you trying to be funny? Yeah, she's got she's our movement in this is quite stylized, and there's a dance of lunatics, so that's her job as well.
Wow. Okay. This is a really interesting play
Yeah.
that you read about in theater history. If you take a theater history class, or even literature, they talk about this period of time. So you were walking down the street one day, you think, I think I'm going to do this play.
Well, it's been fermenting for longer than that. Let me just tell you a little background. This was Duchess of Malfi was the first serious play and role that I was in, and I played Daniel de Bosseler. And this was, believe it or not, in Britain, a high school production.
Wow.
With no holds barred, no cuts or anything. So you could do that kind of thing in those days. It's a kind of play with adult themes. There is, I have to say, there's no nudity, there's no bad language, but there is some very bad behavior.
Bad behavior.
Bad behavior. Now here's the thing.
I heard that this very vicious behavior.
Rather, yeah. Now we've tried to be as honest as we can about that without being self-indulgent in the production. But I've always wanted to do this with a company of adults and really do it justice. So we decided as a company about a year ago to do this play, and then an odd thing happened last fall. The Me Too movement exploded. This is a play, as much as anything else, about the abuse of women at the hands of corrupt, powerful, lecherous men. That sounds familiar. So we're bridging the gap between the Jacobean age, the age of James I, and the 21st century. So it's the Jacobean mafia meets the Me Too movement.
So it isn't a play for an age, it is for all time.
It is for all time, yeah.
So tell me then, you decided you're going to do this play, but why is it that people don't do it?
It's Shakespeare. He's got a lot to answer for. There's a kind of a domination of Shakespeare. And we all know he's a great playwright, absolutely wonderful. But there are a number of neglected Elizabethan plays, probably because of that. People tell me, oh, you're doing the Duchess of Malfi, that's a tough one. I don't think it is. It's not an easy play to do, but in many ways, it's kind of more fun because most of the audience are not going to know what happens.
It's a snuff play?
Oh boy. It's a little bit like a mystery thriller. And you really don't know what's going to happen next. And the way the play is written, it's full of spies and mistrust. And so, you don't know who's going to come from behind the next curtain and change the course of the play or say something out of turn which someone overhears. So it's very exciting to watch. And we're not going to reveal what happens at the end of the play.
Yeah.
Of
I mean,
course
it reflects the tenor of the Jacobean, late Jacobean period, right?
After Elizabeth I
Burning
died.
witches and things like that.
Yeah, Elizabeth I
Burning
died.
people up.
And a more pessimistic age was ushered in. And that's reflected like in plays by Shakespeare. You've got the Scottish play, you've got, be careful, and you've got King Lear, and those kind of dark tragedies of that era, and Othello. And the Duchess of Malfi, which was first performed in 1612, just before, 4 years before Shakespeare died, was very much in that. It's got a very interesting central character that appears in a lot of these plays, and he's called a malcontent. And he makes a lot of philosophical statements about life, whilst also at the same time betraying people and very often killing them as well. So it's a kind of,
let's talk about the parts then. Mitch, what role do you play?
Well, I'm going to be a lunatic.
Yeah.
I'm going to be an executioner and Dilio, trusted friend.
Yeah, Dilio is a trusted friend of Antonio, who is the steward of the Duchess's household that she secretly marries, and that's what leads to a lot
with
of
O at the end, so it must be set in
Italy. That's what I say. It's like the mafia. It's in Amalfi, which still exists in Italy. So the Duchess of Malfi is kind of the central character, and this is something John Webster seemed to do very well. His other great tragedy, The White Devil, the central figure is the heroine, and terrible things happen to them. This play was performed by Shakespeare's own company. John Webster, the author, was a member of Shakespeare's company, and he kind of benefited from Shakespeare. There's kind of plot elements which are lifted out of bits of Shakespeare plays, but he really makes it his own. He's just a great poet as well, and the play is shot through with absolutely stunning lines which stick in the memory. When the Duke Ferdinand, I won't give too much away, is confronted by the death of the person he loves most in the world, he can't bear to look at her, and he says, "Cover her face, mine eyes dazzle. She died young." Right. So it's a lot of creepy stuff like that, beautiful poetry. Yeah. As you'll see, in fact, in some of these
We're going to do a scene?
I think we're going to do a scene.
Yes, all right. That's TV.
Right.
So so why don't we go down the line here and talk
Sure.
about you're not acting in the play.
No, I am not
Linda.
acting. No, I don't act.
Good, but you are an artist and a technician.
I am.
So tell me what you did here. I'm waiting to see these masks come alive.
So with these masks, Phil invited me along to come view one of the rehearsals to get a feel for some of the lunatics. The one that you're holding is going to be one of the lunatics masks.
Is this what you might wear, Mitch?
Yes.
Could we try it on him?
Why not?
Yeah,
sure.
Why not, indeed.
What happens when you put a mask on? Something magic?
People tend to kind of morph into this alter ego when they put masks on. They just kind of step outside of themselves and
kind of
hide behind that.
Yeah, these lunatics, a whole bunch of 8 of them, are set upon the Duchess to torment and torture her and make her feel terrible. And they tear most of her clothes off as well. That's a great... Mr. Tanner, that's an amazing improvement.
Come out of your neck, I want it.
What an amazing improvement that was. So why don't you do some lines from the play, Mitch, when you come in as a madman to torment the Duchess? Go on.
Doomsday not come yet. I cannot sleep. My pillow is stuffed with a litter of porcupines.
How about that?
Whoa, a litter of porcupines.
Yeah. Who's that?
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, that's you, Mitch.
This is an amazing time in the world, though. I mean, the new world. I mean, you had people bringing over natives from Virginia coast.
Yeah.
And talking about these people eating other people. And
it's funny you should say that. Mitch, one of the productions Mitch was in last year was The Tempest, in which he played Caliban at California
which
stage.
is basically set.
Yeah, and he is one of these sort of supposed to be referenced from that time when these weird creatures are being discovered. And Caliban is a kind of corruption of cannibal.
Cannibal, yeah.
There you go. Which is
So-
a corruption of Caribal, which was Caribbean. So it's part of that tradition, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, sure.
So tell me, where's this play going to happen and when?
California Stage, which is on 25th and R Street, and it's opening next Friday on June 8th.
8 to be great.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Mitch. Yeah,
God.
he's difficult to tame, you know. Yeah, it opens on. It's on Friday nights, Saturday nights at 7:30, Sundays at 2 p.m. The whole show runs, including an intermission with about 3 hours. So
Okay.
we'll be away by 10:30 into the night, feeling pretty kind of
Scared.
strange after watching this.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So, real quickly, talk about choreography, because maybe we should jump and see this scene.
Yeah. So Phil approached me about the idea of being choreographer on this show, and there's a lot of stylized movement, and especially with the lunatics. I mean, I worked really hard to bring out each one of them specifically for, just so that they're all different. And then, we have some other kind of movements in there with the Duke Ferdinand and Bossula. So each character has their own kind of stylized way of moving.
Yes.
And we worked really hard to kind of bring that out with this cast, and it's
Okay.
been a pleasure to do that.
Right.
So
Phil, what scene are we going to see?
Right, we're going to see a scene earlier in the play in which now the Duchess has two brothers. She's a young widow, and they don't want her to marry again. The Cardinal, who's kind of the cunning man behind everything, he's a great Machiavel and plotter. He wants to keep, now that the Duchess is a widow and her husband's land is coming to the family, he wants it to stay that way. He does not want her to remarry. He'll take a big chunk of the family wealth back out. Right? And her brother, the Duke Ferdinand, her twin brother, does not want her to marry for entirely other reasons. And I'm going to let you watch this scene and you perhaps get an idea of how, passionate he is about not wanting his sister to marry again. In this scene, they've just received a message from the spy, Bossula, that she has had a child. They don't yet know who the husband is, even if she's married. And they use the B word to describe it in this scene. Okay. So they obviously don't think it's a legitimate thing anyway. And this Ferdinand enters with the message from Bossula that she's had a child. Okay. And that's what triggers this particular scene.
This is a scene by John Webster from the Duchess of Malfi. Here we go. Let's have a look at it.
I have this night digged up a mandrake,
Say you.
and I am grown mad with it.
What's the prodigy?
Read there. Her sister damned. She's loose in the hills, grown a notorious strumpet.
Speak lower.
Lower? Rogues do not whisper it now, but seek to publish it, as servants do the bounties of their lord, aloud, and with a covetous searching eye to mark and note them. Oh, confusion seize her. She had most cunning bawds to serve her turn, and more secure conveyances for lust than towns of garrison for service.
Is it possible? Can this be certain?
Oh, rhubarb! Oh, for rhubarb to purge this collar. Here's the cursed date to prompt my memory, and here it shall stick, till of her bleeding heart I make a sponge to wipe it out.
Why do you make yourself so wild a tempest?
Would I could be one, that I might toss her palace about her ears, rip up her goodly forest, blast her meads, and lay her general territory as waste as she hath done her honors.
Shall our blood, the royal blood of Aragon and Castile, be thus attainted?
Apply desperate physic. We must not now use balsamum, but fire, the smarting cupping glass, for that's the means to purge infected blood, such blood as hers. There's a kind of pity in mine eye. I'll give it to my handkerchief. And now 'tis there. I'll bequeath this to her bastard.
What to do?
Why, to make soft lint for his mother's wounds when I have hewed her to pieces!
Cursed creature. Unequal nature to place women's hearts so far upon the left side.
Foolish men, that e'er will trust their honors in a bark made of so slight weak bulrush as is woman, apt every minute to sink it.
Thus ignorance, when it hath purchased honor, you cannot wield it.
Methinks I see her laughing. Excellent, hyena! Talk to me somewhat quickly, or else my imagination will carry me to see her in the shameful act of sin.
With whom?
Happily with some strong-thighed bargeman, or one of the wood yard who can quoit the sledge or toss the bar, or else some lovely squire who carries coal up to our privy lodgings.
You fly beyond your reason.
Go to, mistress! 'Tis not your whore's milk shall quench my wildfire, but your whore's blood!
How idly shows this rage, which carries you as men conveyed by witches through the air on intemperate violent whirlwinds. This intemperate noise fitly resembles deaf men's shrill discourse, who speak aloud, thinking all other men to share their imperfection.
Have not you my palsy?
Yes, but I can be angry without this rupture. There is not in nature a thing that makes man so deformed, so beastly as doth intemperate anger. Come, put yourself in tune.
So I will only study to seem the thing I am not. I could kill her now, in you or myself, for I do believe it is some sin in us heaven doth revenge by her.
Are you stark mad?
I would have their bodies burnt in a coal pit, with a ventage stopped that their cursed smoke might not ascend to heaven. Or dip the sheets they lie in pitch or sulphur, wrap them in it, then light them like a match. Or else to boil the bastard to a cullis, and give it to his lecherous father to renew the sin of his back.
I'll leave you.
Nay, I have done. I am confident, were I damned in hell and heard of this, it would have put me into a cold sweat. In. I'll go to sleep. Till I know who taps my sister, I'll not stir. That known, I'll find scorpions to string my whips, and fix her in a general eclipse.
My grandfather served in World War II. Spending time with him were the best memories of my life. I became a physician at VA because of my grandfather, so I can help others like him. I can't imagine working with better doctors or a more dedicated staff. I'm fulfilling my life's mission with the help of my team and thanks to these veterans. I'm proud to be a doctor at VA and proud to honor my grandfather every day. Search VA Careers to find out more.
To hear a story.
Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats.
The tiniest billy goat.
Tripping over my bridge. It is I, the biggest billy goat runner.
And the billy goat was so heavy that the bridge creaked.
There's a bridge they have to cross. And great ugly troll. Eyes as big as saucers. Nose as long as a fire poker. And he had the biggest.
The road, the troll. It's only I.
Trick, trap, treat.
Fill the patrol and come
Crushed him to bits.
Up to the hillside.
Well, come along.
Continued up to the hillside.
I thank you.
What if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Whoa, we're back with LiveWire. We just saw a wonderful scene from the Duchess of Malfi, which is going to play at California Stage coming up this next week, and you need to find out by going to the Forgotten Theatre Company's website.
With the ForgottenTheatreCompany.com, and that's theatre, T-R-E, not T-E-R.
Okay.
And then you just find a button, tickets, and you're in. It's very simple.
It's not the forgotten space of the theatre.
And we want to encourage students to come and see this.
That's
so
right. That's right. So you've dropped the price to getting down there.
Way down.
Way down.
Yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Students should see this because it's very interesting. This play is hardly done, and I'm glad forgotten theater. It's not necessarily forgotten by some, obviously.
Neglected, really.
Yeah.
Is why we formed the company to produce kind of forgotten or neglected drama, and this certainly has been.
Good.
Yeah.
And I like what you said earlier about the play and its relationship to you said it was the Jacobean Me Too
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Jacobean from
Jacobean.
Jacob, which is a kind of Jewish or Latin version of James. So it's the age of James I.
James I.
As opposed to Elizabethan, which was more optimistic and expansive. This is when it gets over into that rather bad time that ended in.
And there were other
in the English
playwrights who
Civil
took
War.
up that black, dark
yeah.
horror play.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, forerunner of it was Hamlet. You know, his kind of brooding, melancholy thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was really expanded into something else. So you see, when you see Daniel de Vosser in this, which you're about to see an extract from, you'll see what kind of a strange, brooding character he is. I just want to pay tribute to the two actors that came into this.
Yes.
We discovered Joss, who was the cardinal at the bookstore. And we pulled him in and said, "You look good.
Are you an actor?
Come and read for this." And he was fantastic. And then we had a situation in the last few days when the actor who was playing Duke Ferdinand was unable to continue with it. And so the young man here, that was Joss Lucio as the cardinal. And then Tyler Anderson took over the role like yesterday.
Tyler, great
Isn't that
job.
amazing? Yeah. So great.
on camera.
So in a week he'll be even better. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, Miss Jarbo,
Yes.
you, what character do you play?
I play Cariola, who's the Duchess's waiting woman. So I'm kind of there observing everything, trying to protect the Duchess from all of this
And do you
bad
end up
stuff
doing
that
that, or
happens.
do you know too much?
She tries.
I do what I can. I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah,
but
I call her
yeah.
Cassandra. Cassandra in Greek mythology
I see.
always told the truth. She always knew what was going to happen, but no one would ever believe her. That gives you a hint of Cariola's own tragedy.
It's like kind of like, well, we were looking around corners and things like that, listening.
All the time.
They're
yeah.
spying on everybody.
And sometimes you see a shadow behind a curtain, and that, it's like that.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and
Okay.
we'll be back, and we'll say a couple more things, and then you'll introduce the next scene.
I will, sure.
All right. Okay, we'll be back with LiveWire and the Duchess of Malfi in just a minute. So pay attention to these PSAs, and we'll be back with you.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
So it's called The Duchess of Malfi. It's a dark and mysterious play, going to play coming up within a week or so at the California Stage Theater in Midtown. And the Forgotten Theater Company has another scene they're going to show us, right?
Yeah, it's a scene later in the play in which Antonio, the Duchess's husband, has gone into exile because the brothers want him dead, all right? But that happens a little later. This scene kind of reveals that the Duchess has in fact married. They know she's married, but they don't know to whom. But Antonio is actually her husband, her steward, and that's what is discovered in this scene. And Borsula, who's the spy, the malcontent, who's been set to work in the Duchess's household, but is going to reveal the truth about this to the brothers. This truth is revealed in this scene. They've just got rid of Antonio by pretending that he's robbed the household and she's kicked him out. So he's gone off into exile and she's going to hope to try and join him, all right? And Borsula pretends to be upset that she's treated Antonio like this, and so then she reveals a terrible truth about her, which eventually will destroy her, and this is a great tragic moment. There's also humor in this, as you will see.
And name the actors.
Yes, we've got Leah Finnerty as the Duchess, and Jesse Jansen as Daniel de Bosler, and Veronica Jarbo, whom you've already met, as Cariola, the waiting woman.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The Duchess of Malfi.
Alas, poor gentleman.
Poor, he hath amply filled his coffers.
Sure, he was too honest. Let me show you what a most unvalued jewel you have, and a wanton humor thrown away to bless the man shall find him. He was an excellent courtier, and most faithful, a soldier that thought it is bestly to know his own value too little, as devilish to acknowledge it too much. Both his virtue and form deserved a far better fortune.
But he was basely descended.
Will you make yourself a mercenary herald, rather to examine men's pedigrees than virtues? You shall want him, for know, an honest statesman to a prince is like a cedar planted by a spring. The spring bathes the tree's roots. The grateful tree rewards it with his shadow. You have not done so. I would sooner swim to the Bermudas on two politicians' rotten bladders tied together with an intelligencer's heartstring than depend on so changeable a prince's favor. Fare thee well, Antonio, since the malice of the world must needs down with thee. It cannot be said yet that any ill happened unto thee, considering thy fall was accompanied with virtue.
Oh, you render me excellent music.
Say you.
This good one that you speak of is my husband.
Do I not dream? Can this ambitious age have so much goodness in it as to prefer a man merely for worth without these shadows of wealth and painted honors? Possible?
I have had 3 children by him.
Fortunate lady! For you have made your private nuptial bed the humble and fair seminary of peace. For many an unbeneficed scholar shall pray to you for this deed, and rejoice that some preferment in the world can yet arise from merit.
As I taste comfort in this friendly speech, so I would find concealment.
Oh, my prince's secret, which I shall wear on the inside of my heart.
Sir, you should...